Hi, everybody. I'm back for my last American Lit lecture of the semester. As always, this is completely supplemental. If it helps you, great. If it doesn't, move on. We have finished our coursework. If we were in school the last week of the semester, we would be closing out our modernism unit with a film. You know, I like to do that. So if we were in class this week, we would be watching the 2001 movie Moulin Rouge. It is available for streaming. It's not free. I think it's $4 on Amazon, which is a pretty good price. It's a 2001 movie, so it's current and ish and entertaining. You'll recognize the lead character, our modernist hero, as Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the romantic lead as Nicole Kidman, who you probably know best from Big Little Lies, although she's done a lot of work. The movie is, even though it's set 20 years before modernism took hold, and it was made 80 years after, it's very interested in the modernist principles that we've been talking about. It has a modernist hero who's kind of a mess, but is actually a really good guy. It actually, one of the characters is a historical post-impressionist French painter. It's really interested in ideas of identity and the spiritual debasement of a modern world that treats people, especially artists, as commodities. So we could talk for days about how this sort of fits into the modernist universe. But I will leave that up to you. I do think you'll enjoy it. It's a lot of fun. It has Nat King Cole music and Madonna music. There are a lot of anachronisms. That's a good SAT word for you. Things that appear out of time. Things from different time periods show up in a movie that's set around 1890. But like I said, there are songs in it by Madonna. It's wildly experimental in that modernist way. In fact, Baz Luhrmann, who's the director, he's so heavily influenced by the modernist period that his most successful movie to date is actually the Leonardo DiCaprio remake of The Great Gatsby. If $4 is too rich for your blood, I shortlisted some other films that a few of which are actually streaming for free if you have Disney Plus. Nightmare Before Christmas is a very modernist movie. In fact, most of Tim Burton's canon is heavily influenced by modernism. I shortlisted Edward Scissorhands too, which is also, it's not free, but I think it's maybe $2. Who Framed Roger Rabbit has a lot of modernist ideals to it, a very modernist hero. And was wildly experimental for its time. Some of those, Nightmare Before Christmas, for instance, Who Framed Roger Rabbit, are family friendly enough that if you are healthy at home with little brothers and sisters, it's something that they would probably appreciate too. Now, if you are a horror fan and you're used to watching R-rated horror films, which you probably shouldn't be doing because most of you are not 18, but I know some of you are making a steady diet of R-rated horror films anyway. You might as well watch the good ones. I highly recommend Jordan Peele's Us from 2019. It's very interested in questions of identity and in the spiritual debasement of modern life and the flaws in the American dream, and especially in issues of African American racial identity, which were first sort of made mainstream, got into the mainstream conversation through the Harlem Renaissance. I will warn you, it is a true modern horror film. It's scary. So if you're not a horror fan, skip it. But if you are, and that's the kind of thing you're going to watch anyway, at least watch some quality, because it is. Us is one of the good ones. And finally, if you are a true horror buff, and you pride yourself on understanding films, or if you want to go into film studies like I did, or if you want to become a filmmaker, you really should watch The Cabinet of Dr. Caligari, which is free all over the place because it's from 1920, so it's basically in the public domain now. It is a true modernist film made in 1920. You can see the influence of modern art in its set design and in its costume and makeup design. It also spawned one of the foundational works of film studies that's steeped in modernist ideology, and that's Virginia Woolf's The Cinema. Now, you may not be interested in going that far down the rabbit hole, but I know some of you are true film buffs, and if you're interested in going into film studies or interested in becoming a filmmaker, these are some of the things that you'll have to watch and you'll have to read. So I'm going to include a link. It's completely just for enrichment for people who, like me, are really, really interested in movies. And, if you're interested in, if you're in AP or dual credit classes or something like that, and you're interested in kind of preparing yourself for a more challenging college curriculum, I would recommend both of these as cultural artifacts that it will benefit you to know. So that's what we would have been doing. And we would have been using this week to catch up, to make sure you got everything in for the semester. So that's what you're going to be doing. I have nothing new for you. Just make sure that you get everything in by May 15th. That's your last opportunity. On May 15th, that's this Friday, you can either submit via email, buses will be running, the school will be open, you can drop off hard copies, however you really want to do that. But May 15th is the deadline for absolutely everything. So get stuff in. I'm here for you. These are work days for me. So if you need to email me or call me or text me, whatever you need to do to help you get caught up and get in as much as you can by May 15th, I'm here. Whether I'm on the clock or not, doesn't matter. I think that's really all I've got for you this week. I will let you know, we may not have checked every single box. And there are many things in all of your classes that your teachers probably didn't get to that are important and that we would have liked to have taught. But I'm confident of this. All this time, you have been learning flexibility. You've been learning responsibility. You've been learning problem solving and time management and resilience. What you missed out on in the classroom, I think you've gained 100 times over. Those are skills that will matter in any profession, whether you become a doctor or a lawyer or an auto mechanic or a lineman or a teacher or a nurse, no matter what you do. Those skills are invaluable to any employer. So I don't think you've missed out on a thing, except we've all missed out on being together. And I regret that. So I'm going to quote the Muppets for the last time this year. I don't like to admit how often I have quoted the Muppets, that you probably haven't caught it. But keep in mind, I'm here for you all summer long if you need me, whether I'm on the clock or not. Somehow I know we'll meet again. Not sure quite where, and I don't know just when. You're in my heart. So until then, it's time for saying goodbye. Class dismissed.